Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janet and welcome to the Called to Create podcast. I am here to help you ladies unlock your creative potential and use your God-given gifts and start a business. Because you were called to create and you have so much to share, and the world needs your creative gifts to be shared right now, ladies. Let's do this. It's a beautiful day here in Hawaii, and if you are living in a place where it's cloudy or rainy, I want to send some sunshine to you, and hopefully it'll brighten your day. Okay, so let me ask you this question. Is it true what you believe about yourself? I want to start by asking you that question. And just think about it for a minute, because we have so many beliefs about ourselves. And a lot of times, those beliefs are not really good. They're not true. And, beliefs are formed in many different ways. And I always talk about how when we're a child, from the age of birth to like just before you turn 8, is where you learn everything about who you are, about what you should believe, what you shouldn't believe, how to live your life, how to do things, how to view life, how to view people. Everything you can think of is formed, is taught to you, and you learn it by the time just before you turn 8. And 8 is like the age of accountability, right? Before that, you're pretty much really innocent. You're still learning about life and all of that. So, do you have beliefs that you had from when you were a kid? I want to be so bold as to say, yes, you do. Because that is where childhood is where we learn to believe most of what we believe. And usually it's about what you believe about yourself. I think that has the most impact, because I hear women all the time saying stuff about themselves like, oh, I don't believe I can do that, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm too fat, or I'm too old, or it's just, the list just goes on and on and on about all the things people believe about themselves. And I just think to myself, wow, that must be really exhausting to think all of those negative thoughts about yourself. Now, I have my own thoughts about myself, and I've been working really hard to look at my beliefs to figure out, okay, are they really true? Where did they come from? And if it's not true, and how can I get over it? Or how can I change my belief rather? Sometimes it's not as easy to just get over and let it go, because I've had beliefs for like a really long time, and you've had beliefs for a really long time. And you have to really look at the whole picture. That's what I love to teach and tell people, is look at the whole picture, the whole perspective, and look at it in a really unbiased way. Just look at from when you were a child to now. Look at that bird's eye view of everything. Like, where did that belief come from? Is it something that, you heard growing up? Is it something that you picked up as a teenager? Where did it come from? Do you think that you're not smart enough? And what happened? Did something happen in school that made you believe that? Now, my belief about myself that's not true is that, yeah, I'm not smart enough growing up, because I have siblings who are really smart. They got good grades, all that stuff. School was easy, and I was just the opposite. I hated school. I hated math and science. It was like just really hard. But because of that, I felt like I wasn't smart enough. Okay, like, we have the same mother, like, what's going on? But I realized that I have different things, different gifts that I'm really good at in the creative classes, and, of course, PE, all that kind of stuff. I did really well. And the art classes, back then we had like wood shop, we had photography, we had graphics classes, all those creative classes I did really well. That's what I excelled in. So I had to as I became an adult, I had to look at all of that, all my beliefs on thinking that I'm not smart enough, and then realize that that's not true. I have my smarts in my own area. People cannot be great in every single area of their life. That's just no possible way. We all have our gifts. So if you only focus on what you believe, that the negative belief, it's really going to hurt you a lot. It's going to hold you back and it's going to just drag you down. So I want you today to question what you believe in about yourself. Like, is it true? And get your trusty notebook and write it down. Because just because you believe something doesn't make it true. Like, I had to have a former boss of mine tell me that I'm not dumb. Like, I'm not, because I thought like I wasn't smart enough. Maybe I was dumb. Who knows? Like, who knows what kind of crazy thoughts were going on in my head. So I was having this conversation with her, and she said, from what she witnessed and working with her and her working with me, she knew I was smart enough. She knew I had gifts in different areas. So what? I wasn't good in math and science. That doesn't define who I am, and it doesn't define whether I'm smart or not smart or dumb or however you want to word it. I have areas that I'm really good in, and she recognized that. And I thank her for that. I thanked her because for a really long time, I always thought like, oh, okay, how come, Why am I like this? Why is it that I don't understand math and science? I mean, of course, I get the basics, the multiplication, division, plus minus. That's easy. But, when you get into algebra and all those higher math subjects, it's not as easy for me. I laugh and joke about how algebra, why would you mix alphabets with numbers? But, that's like a whole nother topic. I interviewed Allison Dillard, and we were talking about math because she's a math person, a math teacher, professor. So she teaches math, and we laughed about that, how I joked about how, you don't mix alphabets with math and numbers. But again, it's not my favorite subject. But anyway, my point is that just question what you believe about yourself, because I can guarantee there's at least one thing that you believe about yourself that's not true. And I'm talking about like the negative things. And focus just on what you know are your gifts and your talents, instead of focusing on what your weaknesses are. If you're not good at math, okay, does it really matter at this point? Because it should only matter if you're in a field or a job where, math is required. But just question it, because your false beliefs could just be holding you back and causing you stress and frustration, like it was for me for many, many, many years. So try to find a belief that is true, and just focus on that. Don't focus on any of the negative things, because we're not perfect. So it's really easy, I think, to focus on all the negative things about ourselves. And sometimes it gets so ingrained because maybe growing up you heard it all the time, like, oh, you're dumb or you're stupid or things like that. So it's easy to focus on that if that's what you've heard for a long time. But now you have the opportunity to just question what you believe in and what you've heard for a really long time. And like I said, I can guarantee that it's not true, because we can't be really great in every single area of life and in your life too. Now, take this to heart, take it in, and think about it today, because I want to help you to become a better person. I want to help you to just reimagine your life and just question what the beliefs are that you have. Okay? Now, this is just talking about personal beliefs. This is not about anything else or anyone else. This is just about you. Just look at it. Look at the broad picture and see what's happening for you. Or if you have anything to say, I value people's thoughts and their ideas, because I think people have amazing ideas, and most times it's not given any credit because I hear, oh, well, you know what? My dreams, I don't think I can achieve it. It doesn't matter. So I don't believe that's true. I know everyone is in a different place. So find out where you are and question what you believe in about yourself. And if you can go out and brighten someone's day, please do so. Send them a text message, give them a call, send them some flowers, put some flowers on their doorstep. I was telling a really close friend of mine that she has a really close friend who's been through a lot of personal things and is really struggling right now. So I told her, even though you can't go and visit with her, just put some flowers on her doorstep and talk to her outside her window. You can get creative in how you can brighten someone else's day, and think about how you can brighten someone's day, especially if you're feeling down. It'll always help you. I can promise it will always help you feel better when you go and try to serve someone else or try to brighten someone else's day. I can guarantee that. And please share this podcast with anyone who you know would get great value out of listening to it. Or if you know anyone that wants to start a creative business, please send this podcast their way. I would really appreciate that. And I want to ask you a favor. If you can please take a minute to rate and review this podcast. And if you're listening to this podcast in the Apple Podcast app, you can rate and review this show right there at the bottom. So as soon as you open my show, you can just scroll down all the way to the bottom and you can rate and review it right there, because reviews are so important and they tell potential listeners and Apple that this show is worth listening to. And I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And have a great day, ladies. Take care of yourself. Aloha.